Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is your girl Black Onyx, tuning in from Tucson, Arizona. I want to come to you guys today. I want to talk about rental assistance, and I want to get on um, Lindsey Graham comments he made about South Carolinians. That was totally out of line and disrespectful on his end. Um, I'm from here in Tucson, Arizona. And yes, we do have the rental assistance program. Um, the list is a little over 5,000. From the last I checked, it was like a little over 5,000 behind. They're 5,000 behind, a little over 5,000 behind on the people trying to get them rental assistance. But I want to give you guys a heads up on that rental assistance program. Now, I understand that we went into a pandemic 2020, February, early on. And a lot of guys were put out of work. Resorting to unemployment here in Tucson is only $240 a week, as you all know. Until they passed the boost, the unemployment boost. I think that was passed like 6 months later, something like that. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, you have a lot of people who has been out of work for a long time. And they're like months and months behind in rent. Especially those that in the hospitality field, restaurant, bars. They really had a heavy hit here in Arizona as far as pay and decrease in pay. Okay. What I like to bring light to is that when you apply for this rental assistance, you apply for that rental assistance during the time that you are struggling. You apply for that rental assistance during the time that you did not have the money to pay your rent. You were stressed and struggling, so you tried to get help. Okay? And during this process, this rental assistance program, it kicked off, but it kicked off months later. It didn't kick off just because you applied and they called you. No. They were months and months behind on calling the people in. And what the government needs to do and what they need to understand is when you call people in for a rental assistance and they got an application in from August and you're calling them in January, February for a follow-up on the application, they could be already back to work. They could have been already back to work, struggling still to catch up. Most of them have already caught up, and most of them are like, okay, I'm almost there. I need that extra to get there, to get back on track. Because right now, this government threw me off my horse. Because I was riding just fine before the pandemic came. Okay? That's what most people are assuming. But when you go in for these rental assistance interviews and interviews after application, which is 5-6 months later, they're actually asking you for your last 30 days of income, which I feel is unfair for those who actually had very hardship trying to keep afloat. Because if they're back at work and their income, you're asking for their income, and you got to keep in mind that most of these rental assistance programs open up right around stimulus checks, right around unemployment kicking in, the boost. They open up right around income tax. So when you turn in your income, you got to tell them you get this stimulus check. You got to tell them you get this unemployment. You got to tell them, because you know your unemployment, when they did the unemployment, you didn't get that money right away. Some people had to wait 8, 9, 13 weeks before they even see a check. Hell, some of them still waiting on a check, you know? And even though you know you approved for it, you just haven't gotten it yet. But it has been weeks and weeks and weeks. So during this time, you could have been some of those people who got that big lump sum right at rental assistance or whatever. And you have to calculate that as income. You got to calculate that 30 days of income, but that will deem you denied rental assistance. You will be denied rental assistance because of that income. They will not allow you to participate in that program. Therefore, all of these money that is left over will go back to the state you live in. That state keeps that money. That money does not get returned to no federal government. That state keeps that money. Okay? So the less people the state got assistance, rental assistance, that's the more money that state gets to keep. Now let's bear in mind is that the states don't mind keeping money. This is why they implemented the rental assistance right around tax time. Stimulus and taxes. If you pay attention, when the rental assistance programs kick off, they kicked off right around stimulus or income tax. Last time the rental assistance kicked off, it kicked off when they passed the unemployment boost, which will deem you not qualified for rental assistance. Okay? So let's keep that in mind. And another thing that I want to focus on, I want to focus here on Lindsey Graham made a statement. And he was talking about the South Carolinians are lazy. He mainly was talking about his own damn family on national TV. And I'm saying to myself, this man, as a senator, is calling people lazy. South Carolina pays $7.25 minimum wage. Okay? And if you do the math on that, you might bring home pay. Might be $2.12, $2.30 at the most. On minimum wage, okay? Now, I'm from a little town called Georgetown, South Carolina, but I live here in Tucson, Arizona. And I took offense to that remark because I'm like, oh no, I live there. I know how it is. You got to literally work 2 jobs to even get by, not even make it, get by. God forbid if you got a car payment or a house payment. You know what I'm saying? So for Lindsey Graham to get on television and call people lazy, don't want to work, they're bums. I'm like, what senator gets on national television calling people lazy and bums? And he's the senator of a state that pays no money. Now they say, yeah, they need to take back the unemployment boost. I believe they should take back the unemployment boost in certain states. Just in certain states. Because I believe that, like Arizona, right now, I think some parts of Arizona are $15 an hour minimum wage. Some are $12.50, some are $13. But at the same time, if you do the math on those states, they're not a decent wage, but they're livable. So if Arizona were to take back their unemployment boost, yeah, give or take, you can kind of like surface or survive on $10 an hour or $12, $13, $15 an hour here in Arizona. Because unlike South Carolina, Arizona cost of living here is the same as South Carolina, but Arizona minimum wage is over half of freaking South Carolina's minimum wage, okay? So, understandably, when they was like they're dropping Arizona's unemployment boost, whatever, give or take, I was like, you know what? They shouldn't have that in the start from the beginning. It should have only been certain states with their unemployment boost. Those states that have minimum wage. Because Arizona, even if you become unemployed here in Arizona, and their minimum wage is, the highest is $15. I think the highest is $15.50. I think in Flagstaff is $15.50. The highest is $15.50 minimum wage. Even if you take away the boost, it will not hurt deeply. Because you still have a livable wage to make it on. And even if you were to get that second job, if you get that second job, you're right at $30 an hour. If you just get a part-time, you know what I'm saying? But if you get that second job in South Carolina, you're making one damn wage, and it's not livable. You still have to take both of those paychecks. to pay your bills. Here in Arizona, the food cost is very cheap compared to South Carolina. South Carolina food is super expensive. You go in the store to try and buy 3 tomatoes, that's $3.49. You come here in Arizona, hell, you can get 1 pound for freaking 99 cents. You get what I'm saying? So the cost of living versus South Carolina here in Arizona is the same for the cost of living, but the food here is super cheap. He talks about they bums that don't want to go to work. It's not that. It's not that they're bums. Even if they got laid off from that job they got laid off from, South Carolina's minimum unemployment payout, South Carolina maximum unemployment payout is $326 a week, which is a little over $100 more than a paycheck you would earn in South Carolina. So you make that make sense, Mr. Lindsey Graham. I challenge all the senators, before you speak on how someone is, or how lazy and don't want to work they are, try living off the wage from your state for 1 month before opening your mouth to say what people can and cannot do, or why they're bums or whatever, why you're calling them bums. Because I promise you, if Lindsey Graham get out there on that 7.25 for 1 month to pay all his bill, Lindsey will be weeping, trying to make ends meet for the second month. I challenge all senators. You senators, y'all talk a good game, but you guys get 4 weeks to 6 weeks at a time from work, while your citizens of your state can't even afford to take a day off from work. Some states don't even pay sick pay. So before you get on your pedestal, you got to remember how you got there. You got in that seat because of the people of your state. Then for you to get on national TV and demean my South Carolinians who work hard, I have no respect for you. None. On any levels at that point. Because until you do the $7.25 challenge for a month and come out and tell me how it works out for you, don't you dare sit on national TV calling any South Carolinians a bum and don't want to work and want a handout. Because the South Carolinians of your state is paying your salary when you can't even afford to give them a livable wage. Everything in South Carolina is going up. Your minimum wage is not even a monthly rent in South Carolina, Mr. Lindsey Graham. Is you that out of touch of reality to not know that $7.25 and $700 to $800 a month don't go together? Are you that out of touch with reality? I understand the people of your citizens of your state is paying your salary. But how can you sit there and call them lazy and bums? I dare you. I dare you when they don't want to point you in that seat. And you got damn 10. The Senate office got 10 increases in pay since 1998. 10. You tell me how much of the people of your state got in 10 years. The salary increases, pull up everyone. I want you to go to South Carolina Gov. Just go to your senator's stategov.org. And you can literally see every year they give their senators pay increase, okay? Every year you can see that pay increase for that state. Now, all of these senators talking a good game, but they're not telling you they pay are increasing. But they're deeming you not to have one. But it's okay for we the people to kick out our hard-earned money, making not even a livable wage, to increase your wage. Make it make sense, Lindsey Graham. But these people in the state of South Carolinians, like you say, they're bummed, they're lazy, they don't want to work. This is the reason why you're cutting their unemployment. South Carolina should have been the first state on the list to get a boost. Mississippi is another state that should have been getting a damn boost. These are freaking treacherous states that do not pay no money. But every freaking politician in that state got a raise for the past 10 years. These citizens of your state, you say, are lazy and bums, but these citizens pulled together to pay your salary. So until you get a reality check and challenge yourself, all senators of the United States government, all politicians who talk a good game of the United States government. I don't even want to talk about judges because hell, half of them don't even have to have a degree to be a judge. But every politician, I challenge you to a minimum wage challenge of your state for 1 month. I need you to do a minimum wage challenge of your state. And if you could make it ends meet on your salary of that minimum wage for your state, then you're doing a good damn job in your state. I applaud you. I applaud you. Because in the state of South Carolina, you have to go to the dirtiest poor state, the dirtiest poor counties, to even find a $600 rent. So imagine the people who are trying to live off McDonald's, Family Dollar, Dollar General, all those stores. They're not making any money. They're dragging the ass trying to make ends meet by watching their politicians get on TV talking and deeming them bums and lazy. But these are the same people who elected you in the seat that you are. They don't have the privilege of sitting home for 4 weeks at a time, eating $15 an hour ice cream. They don't have that privilege. They don't have the privilege of sitting up and sitting in the office just sitting there hearing people talk all day long. They don't have that privilege. They got to get out there and make 2 and 3 dying jobs just to make ends meet. And that's just making ends meet. They're not even having leftovers to do anything else with. So Lindsey Graham, that was an offensive statement you made on my South Carolinians. Because all the South Carolinians I know, they work hard. They work harder than you would ever work in your whole entire life. They don't sit on TV and tell a bunch of lies and have to retrace lies after lies after lies after lies. They don't do that. They get out and they get it. They work very hard. All the South Carolinians I know work very hard for their money. And they work hard at a non-livable wage. While they pay you a 6-digit salary at a livable wage, okay? A livable wage. Enough salary that you can have 6, 7 of your citizens living with you. And give them half of your salary. Split your salary 6 ways. And it still will be a livable wage for everybody, okay? So no, Mr. Lindsey Graham. I take offense to every statement you say about my South Carolinians. Because they work hard. They work hard. And they work hard for what? To have a senator to get up on national TV and call them bums. Lazy. No, Mr. Graham. They're not liars. They're hard workers. They're not complainers. They're investigators. Because instead of you complaining about what your citizens aren't doing, how about try investigating to see why they are? That's a big difference, Mr. Lindsey Graham. And I promise you one thing on everything I love. The respect I had for you after that comment has totally left the building. And I, Black Onyx, approve this message. coming from Tucson, Arizona. This is your girl, Black Onyx, signing off. Have a good day, people.